speak about after an enthusiastic politician. I loved your speech, thank you. I'm representing the Executive Agency for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises. We have had the pleasure to support the two projects through a program which is called Intelligent Energy Europe. And I'd like to say a few words about the program, the successor program, in case some of you would like to replicate what you will hear about this morning. But let me start by sharing a personal opinion about the energy context in which we are now. I've joined the Commission in 1998, and at that time it was hard to fight for energy efficiency. Today is completely different. I mean, energy efficiency, sustainable energy are topics which have moved at the top of the political agenda. In October 2014, the Member States agreed on clear energy and climate targets for 2030. Soon after, the European Commission prioritized energy and climate as one of its 10 big priorities. And very soon after, the Commission adopted the Energy Union, which is the vision, the strategy to make Europe cleaner in terms of energy use and energy production. Last year, we had a ratification of the Paris Agreement in a record time. That's changing completely the game also worldwide. And last week, for those of you who have followed a little bit the news on the European scene, you may have seen that the Commission published its second report on the state of the Energy Union. And there, the Commission confirmed that the European Union is on track to meet its 2020 target, but that there's no time for complacency, and there are still further efforts that need to be done until 2030 to reach the new target that are set for that period. The next slide, yeah, please, Stan. In the second report of the State of the Energy Union, I think it's pretty clear that the Commission is saying, well, there needs to be emphasis on actions at local and regional level. And more than 70% of European citizens live in an urban area. By 2050, it should be around 80%. That's the majority of our citizens that live there. And as President Juncker put it in 2015, the fight against climate change will be won and lost on the ground and in the cities where most Europeans live, work and use about 80% of all the energy produced in Europe. A number of initiatives have been put forward by the European Commission, and my colleague from DG Energy will say a few more words about that. What I'd like to insist on, and that's my next slide, it's the funding programs that are available at European level to support the kind of activities that we will hear about this morning. The two projects that were mentioned, Beast and Mayors in Action, were supported under the Intelligent Energy Europe. It was a program designed to overcome the market barriers. We knew that for the 2020 target, to reach them, we could use the existing best available technologies, but that there were a number of barriers that were hindering the penetration of these best technologies. So the program was designed with this in mind, trying to make people more aware of what they can do, helping people develop their sustainable energy action plans, providing funding, triggering investment, raising capacities, and improving the implementation of legislation. That's a program which ran from 2007 until 2013. We had 730 million euro, and we supported more than 500 European projects under that program. The activities that were supported under the IEE continue to be supported under a new program which is called Horizon 2020, which is the program for research and innovation. It's a program of 80 billion euro, it's a massive program, and in there 6 billion euro, at least 6 billion euro will be dedicated to what is called the energy challenge. And in there, at least 15% of the activities will be of the type that were supported under the IEE program. So we will continue to support these activities. And I will say a little more at the end of my presentation on what funding opportunities exist from now on until 2020 to support the kind of activities that will be presented. In my next slide, I want to say something about the projects that we supported under the Intelligent Energy Europe program that were directly connected to the implementation of sustainable energy action plans at local and regional level. There we had at least 34 projects two of them being the two presented this morning, that benefited 351 organizations, private, public, NGOs, all kind of organizations were involved. Altogether, this project supported more than 800 public authorities at all kind of governance level in implementation of Sustainable Energy Action Plan, in their efforts to become local energy leaders. And altogether, we estimated last year in a study that we conducted that more than 500 Sustainable Energy Action Plans were delivered thanks to the Intelligent Energy Europe program. In addition, the program supported 79 local and regional energy agencies, and these played a key role in helping public authorities implement actions at local level. They were very successful. Some of them are still very much active, and I know a few are represented in the room today, and they're doing an excellent job on the ground, connected to the citizens and the consumers in general. My next slide, please. The two projects presented this morning are based for Beyond Energy Action Strategies and Mayors in Action, which has empowered coordinators and supported of the Covenant of Mayors. The main objectives of these two projects were the same, but the approach was slightly different, so it's interesting to hear about these two, and they ran in parallel. They both started in 2014 and will end this year. Actually, they both ending in February this year. The next slide, please. What I liked in this project, as the head of the unit which has followed the implementation of these projects, we tried to accompany them as much as we could. First point I liked very much is the permanent capacity building activities, the fact that the people at local level were empowered in making a difference. So there's a permanent improvement of the skills. They had large networking activities in all the countries that they were covering, including and involving not just the public authorities but also the other market actors on the ground, including industries and private organizations. They had small municipalities joining, even though they were not part initially of the project. A lot of small municipalities joined the movement. And this, for me, was very interesting, the fact that the two projects aggregated actions. And we know in the field of energy efficiency that's very important to achieve a critical mass and be attractive for lending institutions, for investors and banks to invest in energy efficiency. There was a clear monitoring of the results. I think that's also interesting, because you can't act on energy efficiency if you don't know the baseline, and you can't measure the progress if you don't monitor the results. And that was done in both projects. And lastly, there was a holistic approach, not just looking at one sector, but covering all the sectors and focusing where it makes most sense. And last but not least, of course, achieving tangible impact. And we are at a time now when we really need to demonstrate that public funding is well invested, and we're looking for this kind of concrete results on the ground. And I think what Ms. Ruth said was music to my ears, because this is exactly what we're looking for in our programs. The next slide. In addition to all the projects that we've supported in this area, we've also supported an action which is interesting, which is Manage Energy. It's a facility to help people on the ground, in particular local and regional energy agencies. We've had a lot of capacity and networking events organized within Manage Energy. The website is accessible to all. It gives a lot of information on how to achieve savings and how to promote the use of renewable energies. And next year, and that's my next slide please, this year we're revamping the service. We will start very soon the new Manage Energy with masterclasses, peer-to-peer coaching to raise the skills of the energy agencies in Europe. We will have sessions on energy performance contracting. It's very important what you said about relying on energy service companies to do the work at local level. There's a lack of capacity in Europe. I know Belgium is very advanced, other countries as well, but there's still a lot of countries which are lagging behind in the use of energy service companies, and we would like to help them in these in the use of such contracts. And we want energy agencies as well, through that service, to be empowered to help the organizations in their territory to develop investment programs, to invest more money into energy efficiency and renewable energy projects. And as I said, aggregation is very important in this respect, and we would want the energy agencies to play a role there. So we will have the first masterclasses in Brussels, and we will launch a call very soon. Another initiative, please, that's the Sustainable Energy Investments Forum. If you follow a little bit the discussions on energy, on sustainable energy at European level, you will see more and more emphasis on investment. How do we trigger investment? We know that public money is not enough. There's more than 150 billion euro that needs to be invested every year to achieve the energy efficiency targets. It's far more than what the public purse has, and we need to mobilize the money. We need to de-risk the energy efficiency investment. We need to finance, with the public money, the creation of financing schemes which attract private capital in energy efficiency investment, and we need to aggregate. And that's what we want to promote. We launched it last year, at the end of last year in 2016, and we would continue to do that until 2019. We will have events as well all across Europe to build capacity in this kind of issues. And we had a big conference in January already on the topic, and this is a topic that has also moved at the top of the political agenda in Europe, and this is something we want to develop. For instance, how can regions develop financing schemes so that their citizens can invest more easily in retrofitting their house, for instance. These kind of things. There's a lot of precious examples in Europe, and we want to have them replicated. So we will do that through that initiative. Now, you will hear about the two projects, a lot of interesting results, and some of you may wonder, well, what can I do to build on these results and replicate these good things? Well, there is funding under H2020 for that, and we're managing this funding, so I can publicize here a number of priorities that are open for applications until the 7th of June. We've got about 50 million euro to finance proposals that we will select after the 7th of June. E09, which is a reference that you can just keep in mind if you're interested in this kind of support, is directly related to what these two projects have been doing, similar kind of issues, but including also peer-to-peer learning. Project development assistance as well. That's very important because we see that a lot of municipalities tell us that they have a problem to move from the Sustainable Energy Action Plan to a real investable projects that can be attractive for lending institutions. And we want to help them in that transition from the plans to concrete implementation. So we can help them through project development assistance. If they are small, they come to us. If they are big, they come to the European Investment Bank, and they can receive also funding for that. And my last slide, it's Horizon 2020 is not the only source of funding. Obviously, there's a lot more money available in the European structural and investment funds. There's 17 billion euro available between 14 and 20 for energy efficiency. It's 3 times more than what they had in the previous programming period. So a lot of money available for actions in different countries. There's also the European Fund for Strategic Investment, EFSI, which also dedicate a lot of money to energy efficiency and renewable energies, 20% until now, but that will be raised in the future. You can be easily lost in this maze of funding opportunities. What I advise you to do is to go on the Covenant of Mayors website. We help them design a guide, which is very well made, which gives you the list of available funding and help you see which type of funding is the most suitable for what you want to do. And that's a precious source of information because it's easy to get lost in this area, and gives you also the eligibility criteria and that kind of things. And I sincerely hope that after you hear about the presentation on the two projects, you get new ideas and you see the kind of support that exists. And altogether, we move towards a cleaner, a more competitive, a more secure, a more affordable energy landscape in Europe. I would like to thank you very much.